Welcome to Indiana Common Sense
Nonsense.
We are going to have some fun today.
It's tea time from the north, folks. Yeah, baby. Here's you, Christy.
We are shouting out our influencer friends. First, all those people who care just like we do about our government, which should be you as well if you're watching this show. We're also going to shout out our political candidates as well.
Yay! Hey, that's a long. Tonight we're going to talk about the speech. The big, beautiful speech that Donnie made on national television, which, by the way, for the record, nobody covered it on the national television circuit. Why? Well, part of the reason is he brought back the 2020
election interference fraud claims that he has already been to court about and found, no type of voter fraud evidence widespread whatsoever. And Fox News had to pay $250 million, which is why not even Fox News would air the speech that he just made, because once again.
And for the record, who was the president when supposedly this fraud happened? It wasn't Joe Biden. It was Donald J. Trump. For the record, just thought I'd educate people on this. Mm-hmm. So, because of this, there's been a lot of questions going on about how secure is Grant County's elections? How secure should we be worried about our voting? As a pollster, I thought I should come on and talk about how secure is our vote. Well, back when I first started, we didn't have a two-way system. The paper ballots that we keep hearing about. When I first started, then the second year I started working as a poll worker, we started using the paper ballots. Now we have them in every election spot across the county. We now vote in various locations across the county so everybody can go in and vote across Grant County. We have early voting that we do across, usually it's the YMCA and a couple other spots, and at our down at the courthouse where our elections office is at, if you want to vote early. And we still do mail order. We do still do mail ballots.
So mail-in is very important to our democracy.
Yes, it is. We still can mail in our ballots.
And it is still just as secure as it should be, as secure as we could make it, as secure. There has been no evidence of widespread voter election fraud. Every claim of hundreds of dead people voting or hundreds of votes being miscounted just simply haven't been shown to be substantial. They have all been waste of taxpayers' money, waste of running down things that we shouldn't have had to for evidence that wasn't there.
Folks, we're giving these IDs, for the record. I'm going to quickly show this and then we'll put it back. These are the little IDs with the little stars on it, for the record. We have to go through a whole bunch of paperwork at the Driver's Bureau because federal law says we have to have these little IDs, for the record. Okay? That proves that we are citizens and we are people who live in this state. These are legit IDs when we go vote. There's no reason why we need the SAVE Act. Okay? This is a Republican dog whistle. I say this because when the Republicans need to create a drama to get people to vote for them, they create a situation or a dog whistle situation. You notice I'm air quoting here. This is their dog whistle. This is Donald Trump's dog whistle to get people scared so they'll vote for them. The SAVE Act is useless. We don't need it. We already got voter IDs set up. When we go in, that driver's license is given to two people at the voting booth. They verify it by the voter rolls that are at when you go in, you can your ID,
Mm-hmm.
it's scanned, it's verified. Then someone like me takes you to your voting machine. We set you up and you vote.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you're done, not only is it electronically counted, but it's paper counted. Double verification of your votes. Okay? It's not sent nowhere. It stays right there at our little voting sector. When we're done, a Democrat and a Republican and the person in charge at that building takes our totals and we take it to Grant County's voting off our headquarters there in Grant County, which is the courthouse, and we turn those in, and then they are counted right there at the Grant County vote, right there at the Grant County clerk's office,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when we turn in our totals, and that is sent to the state. That is how secure Grant County's voting is done. And by the way, that's done across every county in the state of Indiana. And I'm telling you this for a reason, okay? Because Donald Trump wants to scare you and say everything is not correct. Now, if we have mail in ballots, those are counted that night and they are added into our totals. We're a small county. We probably get them counted in and sent up the same night. But in larger counties like Indianapolis or Marion County or Allen County, which is Fort Wayne, up in
Okay.
Evansville, I mean, down in Evansville or up in Gary, West Lafayette,
I was thinking Lafayette.
okay, all those ones will take a little bit more time to count. Like, say, we're going to use Los Angeles County. We're going to use Philadelphia. We're going to use New York City. We're going to use Chicago, St. Louis, Houston, Dallas, all these
All
bigger
the big
cities.
cities.
Atlanta. That seems to be one of Trump's big areas. Miami, where he lives at. I'm going to use these cities for a reason. They have larger populations. It takes more time to count those paper ballots that are mailed in. Don't let Trump scare you on mail in ballots. That's his fear. That's his dog whistle. Okay? I posted last week about how much voter fraud there has been in the last 40 years. And this was done by the Heritage Foundation. Okay? There's been 0.00001% voter fraud out of I
Hmm.
think 10 billion votes or 10 yeah 10 billion votes. I'll have to look, make sure.
So I just looked it up, and Trump voted by mail in the 2020 election himself,
Yeah.
while claiming voting by mail was fraudulent. He voted by mail.
Okay, so let's get this straight, folks. Don't let Donald Trump tell you about all this crap because our states, by the way, number one, the federal government does not determine how we vote. The state of Indiana and the other 49 states and the
Mm-hmm.
territories, okay, determine how they run their elections. That is a fact. DC determines how they run their elections, not Donald Trump. Donald Trump has no say. And for the record, if you think ICE is going to sit up at our elections and intimidate people, we have a area that is roped off. Nobody is allowed in that area. If they are, the state police or the county sheriff will be brought in and have them physically removed. And if those two forces can't be brought in, we have the right to call the governor and have bigger forces brought in to have them removed. Nobody is allowed to come up and interfere with our state elections. Period. That is state law. folks, our elections are safe. Period. Remember this. Don't let no one intimidate you. When you come up and vote, it is safe, it is secure, and nobody will harass you. And we, as pollsters, and our person in charge of us when we're in the building, are very, very protective of our voters. We want you to come in and feel safe and secure to come in and post your vote and walk out with a great experience. And I'm in fact, I'm going to do this. Is when I take off my glasses and look you straight in the eye, I mean this sincerely. Our job is to make sure that you come in and have a great experience in casting your vote, and we encourage you to cast your vote. And as a veteran, I appreciate you coming in and casting your vote as a veteran. That makes me the happiest person in the world, and I appreciate you. And in fact, it's the greatest thing in the world for me for you to come in and vote. And that's the greatest thing you can do for thanking me for my service is for you to come in and vote.
Mm-hmm. Voting is we had 2 episodes ago. Voting is a duty as a citizen to make your voices heard to your elected officials and use the power that we do have.
And now I'm going to show you why voting is important.
Yep, we have a whiteboard today.
This is the whiteboard of truth, folks. This is why voting is important. You notice it's blank for the moment. Why is it blank? It's blank because right now we haven't put in everything in here. Right now, as it stands, we have the following things. I'll take the board for a second. In Indiana, we have the following.
And we can tell me when to pause if you want me to pause it so you can do, a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead and pause it. Go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is how Indiana looks right now. By the way, the lieutenant governor isn't voted on. He's appointed by the controlling party at the time the governor is elected. So that means our lieutenant governor was appointed by the Indiana Republican Party. So that means Beckwith wasn't voted in, he was appointed in. That's how come he has a little circle underneath his name.
Which one is he? Point at him.
The lieutenant governor.
Is that on the?
Yeah, he's the one that's got the little circle underneath his name under lieutenant governor. Okay, the rest of them were elected into office. Okay, I want you to look at the number in the state senate and the state representatives. There is 40 senators and only 10 Democratic senators, and there is 70 representatives and only 30 Democratic representatives. This in 2026 has to change. We can, if everyone comes out and votes and wants to change how Indiana's run, we need to change 3 things. We need to vote. We need to stop it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Pause. Silence.
If people want to make change in Indiana, this is how you make change in Indiana. We can, in 2026, make the following changes. Vote to change the Secretary of State, the Treasurer, and the Comptroller. Why? Secretary of State controls our elections and ensure that we keep it secure and make sure that people don't send our information to Washington, D.C. like Garcia did, Diego Garcia did to Donald Trump. The treasurer and the comptroller controls where our money's going, where our contracts are going. Okay? Change the Senate and the representative and split it 50-50. That way, right here on the whiteboard, right here and right here, we have enough candidates to split the House 50-50. That way, everything is down the middle. Make the Republicans have to negotiate with our Democratic colleagues make them have to work with us. The minute they have to work across the aisle, you'll see bigger changes in how Indiana is run. And right here, the most important thing, we've only had two people in our representatives in federal government. Two representatives out of 9. We can change that. We can get at least 5 representing Indiana, maybe 4 to 5 there in the House of Representatives. Makes a big difference at the federal level. We can start getting more funding sent down to Indiana instead of being less. And I say this for a reason. I say this with the most hardness because Indiana is number 1 in business, but we in the top 10 in the worst states to live in. Why? Is because we have Republicans with no we have Republicans controlling everything, and they basically make it business savvy but living poor. Nobody wants to live in a state where pollution runs our state.
We're number 1 in pollution, number 1 for coal ash dumping, number 1 for most polluted rivers and streams, failed every air pollution category. Most physically inactive, high infant mortality, college dropout state, 7.25 an hour minimum wage state.
If you're going to bring business in, business wants places for people to live, have good income. You want to see what happens when you have a good gross domestic product in your state. You see money coming in. You see people buying stuff. You see people going to stores when they have money to spend. That the only way you do that is you change the laws in the state where you have union work, where you have money coming in for people that can go out and buy stuff. You have laws are set up where it protects people. You have regulations on streams, rivers. You get rid of these data centers whose only purpose is to spy and control information. You start being smart with our resources. You start seeing a big change in Indiana. People want to start coming to Indiana and live in Indiana. And then you'll see a big difference in our population, and you'll start seeing our college students that go to IU, Butler, Ball State, Indiana,
Wesleyan,
Indiana Wesleyan, Notre Dame. You get my point.
These colleges, some of the best colleges.
We do. We have some of the greatest colleges in the country. But when they graduate, they don't want to stay because they see the shit pot of a state that the Republicans have created. And they don't want to stay here. They want to hurry up, get out of college, and then get out of Indiana because it's not a good place to live. Folks, they see drugs coming down I-69 across I-70 through 65 going up to Chicago. Come on, folks. We can do better.
We're also the only state without legalized marijuana in our vicinity. We are bordered by 4 states which at least have it all medicinally.
We don't. Our representatives don't represent us. These Republican representatives don't think about the people. They think about their purse, their pockets. They don't really think about us. It's about time we start looking at these representatives and start asking them, start representing us, or we're going to start voting you out. And we, as a people, think of us as the ants. Okay? These guys are the grasshoppers. They just say, okay, fine. We got you underfoot. So long as we keep you underfoot, we got control. The ants outnumber. We, the people, outnumber these representatives, these state senators, the governor, the rest of these, the governor, the secretary of state, the treasurer, the comptroller, the Secretary of FSA, the Veteran Affairs, all these other offices. We control them by election. If you're not doing your job, folks, you get pushed out. You know how you know the Republicans are scared is when you see attack ads constantly coming out because Jim Banks, the big boy senator, starts pulling attack ads.
Mm-hmm.
This is when he starts throwing big money, Republican money out for attack ads against his enemies, like he just did in the primaries against multiple Republican that said, "Hey, we're not redistricting Indiana." Went after what, seven or eight of them, of his fellow Republicans.
Because they actually voted and did their jobs well.
Yeah, this is this is when the rats start banding the ship. Okay, when the cheetahs start eating their own faces.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is MAGA attacking each other to put more MAGA back into the power base. Let's face it, I'm going to say it. Banks and Young are MAGA flunkies. When they come up for re-election, vote them out. I'll take a straight, moderate Republican any day of the week that isn't tied to Donald Trump. And I'm a Democrat. And that's saying a lot. I'd rather have a Richard Lugar back in office or Dan Coates back in office than I would these two bozos, Banks and Young, in office. At least you know they had integrity and honor when they were in office. Okay? These two have no integrity and no honor. And they're veterans. When I as a veteran call out fellow veterans and call them dishonorable, that tells you a whole lot about these guys. Okay? That's saying a hell of a lot. If Banks is willing to pull out big time money, tells you something. When you see attack ads about somebody and they're not tied directly to the candidate, that tells you something about the candidate and the party that's backing it and the people who are backing it. That should tell you that if they're attacking that candidate, maybe you ought to look at the people who they're backing.
Just like ban the books and everything else, follow the money and see who it's benefiting.
Don't don't never vote straight ticket, folks. Look at the candidate. That's the problem with Indiana. The Secretary of State sets the Republican top on top first. And then most people vote straight ticket. A lot of old people vote straight ticket. They don't want to take the time to look. They just go in, well, I'm Republican, I'm just going to vote straight ticket and I'm done. Don't, folks. Take the time and look at your candidates. Voting is not a straight thing. It's a privilege. And freedom is not free. You have to fight for it every year. It's not something that you just forget about it.
Indiana could switch any single election because of the massive amounts of people who don't vote. If we had more people who voted, this could be a blue state. It is possible. Purple for sure, but
purple
better than the red we are.
Folks, would it be nice to have people coming in here and saying, "Hey, I want your vote. I would like to see a Democratic candidate swing in here 3 or 4 times. I would like to see a Republican president candidate and a Democratic presidential candidate slamming in here in Indiana saying, I want your vote." It would be nice to be a swing state. I don't want to go in and say, oh, about we get done, the polls will close at 6, at 8 o'clock, it's already been given. I want candidates to have to come in here in Indiana and beg us to vote for them. Make us a powerhouse swing state. We used to be a swing state. We used to be a purple state. At one point, 30 years ago, we had four to five Democratic representatives. We had a split Democrat and Republican senators. We used to have Democratic governors and Republican um, positions on that list. We used to have a split state Senate and split House. But the Republicans burned a lot of money, took time, and basically took over our state Senate and our state House of Representatives and eventually got our governorships.
Indiana voted Democratic in 2008 when Barack Obama won by 1.03%, the first Democratic victory in 44 years.
Folks, it's about time we stood up and retake back our state. The only way we can do it is to quit leaving supermajorities in our state house. This election, 2028, 2030, and 2034, let's start taking back our state house and start splitting our state house and make it 50-50, and eventually let's turn the governorship back over to the Democrats for a while and let the Democrats show what it's like to take that 4 billion asset and give health care, give daycare to families. Let's start getting our roads fixed.
Mm-hmm.
Let's quit giving contracts to people. Let's stop seeing our governor waste our money for a helipad at in his hometown and specialty highways so his business can splurge. Let's quit watching the governor trying to turn all of our interstate highways into toll roads and give it to businesses when they should be public roads. Let's quit doing the stupid stuff. Let's start turning our state back into a state where people want to come and visit. This is what we need to do. Vote.
And we had a whole episode about how that's our responsibility as citizens, about how if you are being ruled by a government on this earth, you can live in the wilderness in somewhere, but if you're being ruled by a government on this earth who gives you the freedom for your voice to be made known, then it is your duty and responsibility to make it known. And I think it's a universal that nobody trusts the government. I am 37 years old, and ever since I was able to vote, it's a universal in America that nobody trusts the government. Now, with that being said, whoever you vote for, it's not just a vote, and if they win, they win. It's a vote, and then hold them accountable. It is not, politics shouldn't be as easy of a job as it is. There should be term limits everywhere for everything, and it's ridiculous that there isn't, but there will be. We can make that change, and a lot of us want that change.
Character. Always character. The character of the person should always be put in question. Always. When you go into public service, I guess Mr. President showed a great example of that. A Republican was challenging the president because he had a lobbyist girlfriend.
Hmm.
His wife was dead. He was raising his daughter during his what was it, his first term, and he was getting ready to run for. He was in the middle of his second term, and he had a lobbyist girlfriend that was a liberal. We'll call liberal, and they were beating him over the head because he was dating somebody during his second term, and they were using that as a character assassination on him. He walked in and gave the greatest character speech in the world. He basically called them out for this. He basically looked at them in no uncertain terms and said, if this is the best character attack you got, you guys are on the wrong track. I'm going to go in, I'm going to get what I want, because if this is the best you got, you guys ain't gonna get it. This is you guys are questioning my character. This woman here has got more character in her pinky than you guys have got in your total library.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Character. When someone says, I'm going to go out and get this done, I'm going to put my effort to get it done. What has Mike Braun done? What has Beckwith done? What has any of these Republicans done? They haven't done a thing but rob us blind. They've lined the pockets of Indiana, $4 billion worth of lining, and they've done not a damn thing with it.
And the governor refused government aid for the summer food program again for another year.
Why?
That is a good question, isn't it?
I'd be
Because I
asking
haven't
him.
seen any good answers.
By the way, Mr. Beckwith is coming in next Wednesday,
Oh,
the Grant
yes.
County.
I'll look up those details and we should have an image on screen for you when this comes out.
We will let you guys know. I would be, if you are a Grant County resident, I would be at that meeting. I would be cornering his butt and I would be asking him some serious questions.
All right, Lieutenant Governor Mike Beckworth is coming to God's house, which is 216 West 6th Street, Marion, Indiana, Wednesday, July 29th. It's the last Wednesday of the month, and it's from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., Wednesday, July 29th, right here, Marion, Indiana, God's house, 216
Talk
West
about an
6th Street.
oxymoron.
Lieutenant Governor Mike Beckworth, and I want as many friends as possible to be there because we need to make our voices known.
By the way, Indiana Common Sense and Nonsense will be videotaping at that event. I will be there with my USS Butte hat on with a camera videotaping the whole event. I don't know if I'll ask him any questions, but I will be videotaping the event because I have imagination that somebody's going to corner him with some very serious questions. If I don't corner him with some very serious questions myself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then I will bring him back on the next podcast for people to listen to his answers. By the way, for the record, on some of his religious views, we will address some of them in later podcasts because, for the record, I don't believe in a book that's been modified so many damn times. It's almost not a book. It's more of a rewrite to fit a narrative that he believes in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But didn't he quote? Oh no, that wasn't him. The other guy, Hegseth, quoted Pulp Fiction Bible.
Beckwith believes in a fiction Bible too, for the record. And yes, you heard me say that.
Mm-hmm.
Lieutenant Governor, you're more than welcome to debate me on that as well. I'll be happy to sit down with you on that one.
I'd love to moderate something like that. Because I'd make sure people got their equal mic time and that the questions got asked and that it was nice and fair and balanced.
You might not like my Bible. What's it say? My Bible's older than I am. What's it say? My Bible was around when the Confederacy and the Union decided to have a slugfest. Let's see what your Bible says and compare what my Bible says. I think my interpretation might be a little different from your warped sense of Bible.
What other events or anything may we have coming up? Do you know?
August 6th, we have Mr. By, we have all of our candidates going to be in Matter Park.
That's right. I was about to look that up because I need to get that put up as well because they want me to put together a choir.
Yeah, that's right.
They asked me to put together a choir. So I'm hoping.
Don't look at me. I sing like shit.
You are fine. But no, I'm hoping that it turns out okay. But I'm going to find. Here we go. Okay, so the Common Ground Rally 2026, Building a Better Indiana Together. Sunday, August 9th. 2026 from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. We're going to have all those people at Martyr Park, Garden House, and Gardens meeting candidates for office, primarily Bo Bai and JD Ford, but many more as well. And like I said, I think they want the choir for 3 o'clock. So come out to get some real black gospel choir. I don't know where I'm going to find my people at, and I've only made one or two posts about it, but we got more than 2 weeks, and it's going to happen.
So definitely come. It's a good chance to meet the candidates. Let them talk about what they want and how they want to do it.
I wanted to go over the candidates one more time, and I'm going to start with our friends because we have a few friends. State Representative District 31, where we live, Katie Robbins, Grant County. Bo Bai for Secretary of State. Also, Cynthia Weir for State Senate District 17. Those are 3 people that we've actually connected with and may actually. We haven't asked them to be on, the podcast yet or anything, but we believe we have their support. So if they have any messages for us that they'd like us to give to the people, or maybe even send us a clip for the
Don't
beginning
forget
or
Jay.
end. Yep, JD Ford as well. You're connected.
No, Jay Carlisle. 30. Right before Katie.
Jack Chance. Jack Chance. Yes.
Jack Chance. I mean, sorry about that, Jack.
Rep for District 30, Jack Chance. So those are some of our specific friends, but we want you to get out and vote to make change. If you are in any of the districts or places that we name, and you hear any of these names or you see any of these names on the ballot, know that if you trust us, that these are some names that you should look into and be informed about. We already mentioned Bo Bai for Secretary of State, State Controller Jessica Bailey as well, State Treasurer. We've got Secretary of State Bo Bai, State Controller Jessica Bailey, State Treasurer Kumbia Kibi, U.S. Representative District 5 J.D. Ford, State Senate District 17 Cynthia Weir, State Representative District 30 Jack Chance, State Representative District 31 Katie Robbins, Clerk of City Court Linda Raidmaker, County Council District 2 Connie Newby, Council District 3 Barb Stonehill, Township Trustee Jeremy Esminger, Center Township Board Jocelyn Whitaker, Eric Escobar, and Reverend Al Green, Franklin Township Trustee Bob Sanchez, Franklin Township Board Susan Hugan Hutchinson, Jefferson Township Board Vanessa Stevens, Liberty Township Board Susan Althouse, Pleasant Township Board Luke Hooglin, Terry Stoge Hill, Sims Township Board Andrea Rademaker, Washington Township Board Stephanie Smith, and Fairmont Town Council at Large, Jeremy McKinley. Thank you to all of our politicians who have put their hats into the ring. We encourage more people to get involved in politics and get your hat in the ring as well. We talked about our events. We shouted out the politicians. Do we have anything left to say?
Other than go out and vote. If you haven't registered, come find us. Find me. And don't forget, if you want to contact us, there is our email.
INDYcsns at outlook.com. Common sense nonsense. CSNS. Indy. INDY.
By the way, I haven't gotten no emails yet, but I'm looking forward to answering your emails and your questions. Please send me some email. I want some email. Please.
We will also have the Facebook page up as well very soon.
And we will have a website coming real soon, too. I'm looking forward to that, too, as well.
All right. See you guys next week.
For Indiana.
Common sense.
Nonsense. Yeah, baby. Tea time.